So, why? Why do we want to do this? Do we want to just lose weight or change the taste and the flavoring? Do we just want to feel better because it feels great being light? Um, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's merely scratching the surface there because we go way beyond that. And it's really, there are a lot of things you want to stretch and grow in your life. A lot of that is, aside from growing new brain cells every time without, getting overworked and getting too stressed and getting a heart attack and dying, you want to be able to prolong your life, right? So longevity of life and your brain health, your mental health, your well-being, and of course your tolerance. One of the biggest challenges in life, one of the biggest toughest things to ever do in life is to take a hit or a slap on one cheek and turn the cheek for the other. You know what I mean? That's like ultimate. Because most people, like 98% of men, on their ego uh, foundation, or basis, would fight right back, and they would try to fight back with a bigger. You take a swing with a hammer, they'll try to come back with a bat. You know what I mean? Or you come with a knife, they'll go with a gun, and that's how the wars of society has escalated. Even in wars, just the human tendency when it's fighting in a competitive mode, it's like an ego mode. It's always competition, and competition is dog eat dog, right? And then they're just killing each other. So what we're trying to do is trying to get that violence and that anger out, and trying to get, we don't want to kill each other. We don't want to be cannibals on the same planet, and eating our neighbors, right? We want to, become more humans, and become more civil, more humanized versions of ourselves, less animalistic, less primal brain, less of a dog. There are good qualities of a dog and bad qualities of a dog. The few qualities that are good with a dog are, how loving and attentive and how devotional it is. It's like pretty much unconditional love, living example of it. It would give more of its own life and not to you, than to anybody else, right? And so, like humans, they have like the self-preservation modes, and they get prideful, and while dogs, they'll defend you with their whole life, right? But there are other things, like dogs they're like bunnies. They'll go out of control, and they'll outbreed themselves in and out, without thinking about how to support their own offspring or their own kids, right? So in that sense, you don't want to be a dog, like, in a mischievous, in an animalistic, just, you know, you don't want to be just shitting your way all around through life, right? Or be on a leash, or be like a sheep or something. But anyway, so there's certain qualities that we want to improve and polish on the human and the civilized side, right? But yet, keeping the cuddly and the cute, even some certain qualities of the separation anxiety with dogs are quite attractive. You know what I mean? Like how much more caring they are to their next door neighbor, or like their owner. Like, oh, like, you gonna play with me yet? Or with their tail wagging. It's like, come on, it's like every second of the day is like, they're waiting to play with you, right? Also because they're aging 7 times faster, or the age, like if you multiply their age, it's like 7 times. So their planet is like spinning 7 times faster than our planet orbits. You know what I mean? Like their 24 hours a day isn't exactly the same. They're not living up to 100 years like we do, as humans. But anyway, so yeah, but to be a human it is imagining like taking a boxing, going to a boxing match and say, go ahead, I'll take a hit here and there, not being a childish, uh, immature, spoiled brat, and reacting uh, with a bigger, egotistical manner, or in an egotistical manner, or just, trying to outpunch each other because, we would just be, blind. They would just be turning the whole world blind, or an eye for an eye, killing each other out. Would just be leaving everybody dead. And the air that everybody will be breathing after a war zone might not be enough to sustain the most delicate species of flowers and birds and bees, and we're already missing out on so much. You know, some birds are already falling off, and the bees are dying by the hundreds of thousands. And they're getting lost because of the Wi-Fi signals and the sonar and the submarine sonar. Bombing the ear canals of the dolphins and the whales. Everybody's going haywire. They're losing their natural balance in life. So there's a lot going on, and it's going to take, 10, 20, 30, who knows? Sometimes it's irreversible. We can never bring it back to its original pristine state, right? Like, imagine, what damage, look at the damage that was done above water and underwater with Nagasaki and Hiroshima when we dropped the nuclear bomb on them. And you know what I mean? Like, how long did it take for the fish species to recover? There's some fish that are like, second, third generation, already carrying the same effects of the radiation, of like the Chernobyl radiation effects, or of the nuclear. Well, these toxic effects have a trickle down effect. That's all I'm saying. Just like in life, there's inertia, momentum. Everything follows through. Just like our food, okay, that spiritual life force that is encapsulated in the last few seconds of its life, that emotional, that's like an emotional bubble, okay? That's that spiritual life force that has inertia that carries on through your life. Just like even life, after death, we're supposed to reincarnate, okay? So it carries through, and then there are paths, based on our karma and our dharma, that it follows through. We don't just get thrown out. Even the planets that don't seem like they're held up in the sky or in the universe in an organized way. Well, they have an orbit, and it's like a fixture. In the same time next year, you'll see them in the same exact spot. Maybe a little off kilter by a few degrees, but essentially the same orbit. That's why you see the sun setting in the same general area. It moves inch by on the horizon, just bit by bit, very gradual. So that's just the key. The secret to success is gradual progress, not these high attempts that most people are like overdoing, overkilling things. Because slow but sure is the best way to go at it. We don't want to be like out competing, out punching, out missiling. People are just sending bigger and bigger missiles to each other, or faster cars out racing each other with bigger engines. And what did that leave us? And that just left us with a whole bunch of years of smog and pollution and carbon monoxide, or carbon dioxide, and methane and all that kept polluting the earth. But anyway, so yeah, think about, go through the layers. It's not, when you see the light, it's not just white light, it's the rainbows of spectrum of colors. And having the discipline in your food will allow you to peer through, the usual, black and white. You'll see through the rainbow colors every single time. You won't need like to see the prism after it rains. You'll see it every single time. Once you gain that intuition, you reactivate your own senses, and all mental faculties are